Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Donnelly, play-by-play voice for the Charlotte Rush, and we're at the Extreme Ice Center here in Indian Trail, North Carolina, the home of the Charlotte Rush. And we're in the coach's office, about set to talk about Charlotte Rush Premier Hockey. It is our midweek report of this Wednesday, September the 19th. We have Lenny Childs, the head coach of the Charlotte Rush Premier and assistant general manager. And Lenny, first question, what a wild and wacky weekend it was. Saturday games canceled, last minute playing on Sunday. Just talk about how you guys weathered the storm and how you and the players got through it.
Yeah, definitely. It was a lot of ups and downs throughout the weekend, wondering if we're going to play, and tried to keep that mindset that we were going to play until we heard otherwise. And guys were just really excited to get in on the games on Sunday. And yeah, I think they were prepared for the most part coming in, and obviously the team was dialed in as well, and it was really good to have guys weather the storm that way.
And of course, a lot of the fans may not know, but Lenny and John were suspended for one game, so you kind of had to flip-flop. You were on the bench for the Elite game, and then John was on the bench for the Premier game, so that made things even more unusual this past weekend.
Yeah, definitely. The players, thankfully for us, like we're on the ice both with each other during the week, and players know us both, so it wasn't too crazy, but definitely. Definitely you're looking at the score, you're looking at the card, and you're like, oh my God, what number is this? Like, through there, and the kids did really well, and they were really receptive to our coaching on the bench and different sides. So yeah, pretty good for that.
All right, let's talk about the Premier game. It was a 3-1 defeat at the hands of the Carolina Eagles. First of all, Lenny, we don't want to make any excuses. I know you and John do not do that or wouldn't do that, but the reality of it is we were undermanned. 8 guys suspended. We have a lot of depth. I thought the guys gave it their all, and we did come up a little bit short. But in all fairness, I know you would never use that as an excuse, but we were really undermanned against Carolina.
Yeah, definitely undermanned, and the circumstances around it, but that's again we don't look at it like that, and there's a lot of things that we need to tighten up. That even undermanned, like we were carrying the play for a majority of the game, and ended up out shooting something like 56 to 24. So obviously the things were there, so no excuse in our book to be able to get that job done, and that's I think it's been on preparation, a little bit on discipline, and we had to make sure we're better with that.
Well, one positive, we got the lead early on Matthew Jan's goal. Talk about that start.
Yeah, that's it. Those are starts we need, and that's how we want to play all the time. And guys, with that was a goal or just a shot from the point, and just with traffic, and then having a guy like Matt Jan there with the gifted ability to score in tight areas, banging that home. And usually when you score first like that, and you have that momentum, usually you carry that on, and I think that's just good. Good eyes for things to coming up, and if we can do that every single game and get off to that hot start and get on our toes versus our heels, we're gonna be in a better spot.
And Jack Rydell got his first official start as a Premier goaltender. He did very well with the Elite team last year. Again, giving up 3 goals, but a couple of those were back-to-back there, maybe a breakdown or 2, but just talk about his game on Sunday.
I actually thought his game was actually really good. The goals that they scored were all 3 of them uncontested shots from inside the house. So he literally had to deal with 3 essential breakaways. And one was a backdoor play, right? So you really can only ask your goalies to make the necessary saves, and then obviously pick up a few that they're not supposed to. But definitely for him, I thought he was dialed in. I thought he played with some jump. I thought he was, even with the limited amount of shots, I thought he was on. And it was really up to our defenders, guys on the ice weren't helping him out in small areas. He deserved a good win the way he was doing good things. So again, he had a smile on his face after the game, and actually not right after the game, but after the next day, so he knows what he needs to work on, and it's good to see him in the net.
We're visiting with Lenny Childs, head coach of the Charlotte Rush Premier and assistant general manager, here on our Wednesday weekday video, Wednesday, September the 19th. Lenny, let's also talk a little bit about a couple of new guys you got in the lineup. You have Rowan Lougheed and Pete Izzo. Talk about where they came from and how they might be fitting into this Rush Premier team.
Yeah, both really good guys, both kind of from the north thing. So Rowan from Seattle, Washington, and Peter Izzo from Ontario, from Oakville, and both guys that are fitting in well here with our culture and the way we do things. Peter Izzo, really, really, really fast player. I haven't seen a set of wheels like that in a while. You can only imagine, what he's going to do coming up through the year, and he's been good. He's been great. He came in late and learned the system pretty well, and thought he did pretty good. Obviously in one game. Roland Lougheed, good defenseman. Defensive in his own right, but has good offensive skill to be able to jump into the play, and really good locker room guy. The boys seem to love him, and has a really good energy coming to the rinks. So two good guys that we're happy to have.
All right, Ryan, this weekend we turn our attention to the Richmond Generals. Hopefully it'll be more of a normal Saturday, Sunday this weekend. But after what happened last weekend, you've had a couple days to watch the guys in practice. How do you think they're shaping up to be ready to play this weekend against Richmond?
Yeah, I think pretty good days of practice so far. Really tightening up the things that we need to work on, and still bringing together the culture and the discipline that we have here. And I think guys are doing really good in their rights. And I think the practice today was something where we worked on just really tough, hard areas and scoring more and really keeping pucks out of our net. So the jump is good, and the discipline's been really good in practice, and the jump's been high, and guys been talking and chirping and yelling, and it's good to see that even with the start we've had, guys are still up and and ready for the next performance.
One final question for the head coach of the Charlotte Rush Premier and assistant general manager, Lenny Childs. Lenny, we have a makeup game coming up on Monday, which will give us 3-3. And for a lot of our hockey fans know, this happens a lot in junior hockey, and it happens in the lower minor leagues, but it's going to be happening to us now as well. What kind of adjustments are you and John going to have to make to make sure we can put 3 good games in a row with having a 3-3?
Yeah, definitely. Fortunately for us, with our suspended players, we're not going to be low, right? So I think the first game we'll still have we got 2 players back from the first that they got suspended 1 game. Then we have a couple more coming that had 2 games, so they'll bring an extra spark to the lineup. And then yet again we got guys like Anthony Yerkins and Philip Shemiak and that come in for their 3-game suspension coming in for that Monday game. So they're going to be fired up and ready to rock. So really excited to see how those guys are going to do, and there are some tweaks, to the week that you have to make sure that their bodies are good. Practices we're shortened up a little bit, and make sure that they're having their good recovery. So we're taking the necessary adjustments. It's definitely going to be some good adversity, and we're not ashamed of that at all. We love that, I guess. So coming with that, and then we're going right into the showcase right after that with minor practicing. So it should be fun. It should be tough. It's gonna be a hard weekend. 2 really good teams and guys that play hard. So we're gonna be battered for sure.
Lenny, thanks so much as always for the great thoughts and observations. We wish you good success getting hopefully a couple of big wins against Richmond and following up with one against Carolina.
Absolutely, appreciate it, Tim. It's good stuff here. Then we can keep it going.
Indeed. Lenny Childs, head coach of the Charlotte Rush Premier, also assistant general manager, joining us on our Video Wednesday. Well, again, the Rush will play Richmond this Saturday. The Elite game getting underway at 5, the Premier game Saturday evening at about 8:15. And then on Sunday, the Elite will face it off at 9:20 with the Premier game at approximately 12:15. And then Monday, the Elite will skate it off at 9 a.m. and then 12:15 will be the Premier game. That's the makeup game against the Carolina Eagles. Make sure you go to our Charlotte Rush website, also our Charlotte Rush YouTube channel for a lot more information on the Rush, and please visit our social media platforms as well, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Anthony Pagnotta has been our cameraman from the Carolina School of Broadcasting. Thank you, Anthony. And I'm Tim Benelli, play-by-play voice of the Charlotte Rush. Thanks so much for watching.